Hey everyone, this is Story Rewind, and today we're covering the movie The Box, Metaphor. In the future, the number of criminals has increased dramatically. The authorities decided to create a new type of prison. Prisoners were given a choice: instant death or serving their sentence in a tiny box. Whether they would be fed depended on ordinary citizens, and any attempt to escape led to death. In one of these boxes lives a girl. She was sentenced to 4 years and has already spent 2 years in the box. Because of the lack of hope, she decides to end her life. We shift to another box. Prisoner 13 wakes up from the sound of a loud bang. Her hands are tied. It's her first day in prison, and she has 7 long years ahead of her. The red lights turn green, opening small holes in the walls. 13 sees a couple of people walking nearby. Once the green light goes out, the holes close. A video starts playing, explaining the terms of her imprisonment. The woman screams that she's innocent, but obviously no one listens. Eventually, she falls asleep. After some time, a hole opens again. 13 reaches her arm through it and hits the box with a metal plate. When no one responds, she runs her fingers along the walls. In one area, she gets shocked by electricity. With every passing second, her psyche begins to deteriorate. She starts scratching at the steel walls. Another prisoner wakes up. She has 523 days left to serve. From time to time, someone approaches her box and asks if she's still alive. One day, she decides to break the lamp. A camera installed inside the box catches this. On television, they announce her punishment. The ceiling slowly starts descending. She lies flat on the floor, begging not to be killed. Suddenly, the voice on the monitor glitches and the ceiling stops, but after a few seconds, the system resets and the punishment continues, sending the woman to her death. A new day begins. 13 keeps examining her cell. It starts to rain, and this helps her quench her thirst. After some time, a girl approaches her. She asks what 13 was imprisoned for. Since she was given such a long sentence, it's likely she's a political prisoner. The girl gives her water and some food and says that the lives of the inmates are in the hands of ordinary citizens. 13 repeats that she hasn't done anything, but the shutters close. The next day, 13 stares at one spot thinking about ending her life, but changes her mind. Many days pass. She receives food wrapped in a newspaper. She uses the paper to direct a sunbeam, but she doesn't know the language and can't understand the news. The next time the shutters open, 13 feels around and finds a rubber ball. She uses it to occupy herself and calm down a little. One way or another, every day follows the same pattern. Soon, sores begin to appear on her skin. There is another inmate who was sentenced to 5 years. His mind is already destroyed, and he keeps repeating the same phrase, "I am where I chose to be." One day, a drone takes 13 and moves her box to a new location. There, another girl finds her. She says she has read Shakespeare, who used to be banned. 13 has no idea who she's talking about. The girl recites a line from Romeo and Juliet and even wants to give 13 her book, but 13 refuses. She doesn't want to be punished. Instead, the girl shares some food and promises to come back and read to her. A year passes. 13 finds a tiny book. After reading a few lines, she treats her wounds with water. To avoid drinking dirty water, she pours it on the ground. The camera notices this. As punishment, her box is returned to the shore under the scorching sun. The girl comes back and asks what rule 13 broke. 13 doesn't answer and instead asks how old the girl is. She says she walks around and talks to different inmates. A storm is coming, so she has to leave earlier than usual. As for her age, she's 16. 13 says the girl reminds her of her sister. Over the next few days, 13 secretly keeps reading the book, hiding it from the camera. A drone moves her to a new location where she meets a new person. A man deliberately eats an apple in front of her. 13 asks him to share, but to him, everyone in the boxes is just an animal, unworthy of help. If his word meant anything, he'd have all inmates eliminated immediately. However, he offers her a deal. If she lets him do whatever he wants, she'll get food. Before anything can happen, a drone eliminates the man in the middle of the act. One of the bullets injures 13, but she still grabs the apple, only to find it full of worms, ruining her appetite. Red lights come on. They announce that exchanging food for anything is against the rules. Her punishment? 7 days without sleep. If 13 violates anything else, she will be terminated. Bright lamps turn on, and sirens keep her from sleeping. At first, she tries to cover her face with a cloth, but it doesn't block the noise. And just like that, her second year in the box begins. At some point, her box is moved again, this time to a place where she can see people peacefully playing golf. She hears the 13 was imprisoned illegally, and the locals want to set her free. A girl approaches the box, and in the next moment is inside. She reminds 13 of someone, but 13 cannot remember who exactly. In reality, it's just a hallucination. The girl is 13 herself, before she was imprisoned, and she's not going to be released early. When the punishment ends, 13 tries to sleep. Late at night, fireworks are launched in the distance to celebrate the new year. The citizens decide to free all inmates, except those with political sentences. 13 is lucky. She remains in the box. Because of vitamin deficiency, her hair and teeth start to fall out. On the morning, a woman comes carrying a razor. She reveals that she once spent 15 years in a box herself, and she hates what she became. She doesn't want 13 to end up the same, and she offers to take her place, but 13 refuses. One day, the girl who used to read to her returns. She gives 13 water, and later it becomes clear the girl is pregnant, a result of the deal involving the apple. The girl says her friends want to save her. An alarm goes off, and she has to run away. A few days later, a new man arrives. He sees that 13 still has 4 years left and offers her a choice, his version of mercy. Another prisoner once agreed to it. 13 refuses. Days go by, and she notices part of the structure has rusted. Eventually, she gives birth to a child, which triggers a violation. Another person has been introduced into the cell. The chamber fills with sleeping gas. When 13 wakes up, the baby is gone. Because of the corroded metal, water sometimes floods her cell. When 13 reaches her arm into the opening, the water shorts the mechanism and her arm gets trapped. Only when the green lights turn on is she able to free herself. She has 999 days left to release. The water almost fills the entire box. The system detects more violations. As the drone relocates her to a new place, lightning strikes it directly. The box falls into the water, but 13 manages to escape and swim to shore. And that's where the movie ends. We'll be happy to see your like. We'll be back soon. Goodbye.